Hello, it's me again. So today's project is I'm going to try to make a deli-style vegan turkey or chicken or whatever, poultry. Let's just say poultry. And I got this recipe from Facebook's Seitan Appreciation Society, I think it was. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share the recipe with you. Now in here I have a block, and I believe it was 16 ounces, anyway, of this tofu. Now I had this in the freezer, actually for a long time, and I don't even remember where I got it. It's Twin Oaks tofu, it's organic, extra firm, and it's Italian and herb. So having been in the freezer, it's still perfectly fine. So it wants you to crumble it up in your food processor. Now over here, my herb mix, my spice mix is 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of sage, and 1 teaspoon of rosemary. So that's what's in there. Now in here, I have 1 cup of Vital Wheat gluten, 1/4 cup nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons of tapioca starch or cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon of mushroom powder seasoning. If you don't have that, you can use a teaspoon of salt, or you don't need the salt if you don't want it salty. I like salt, so I put it in. And over here, I have about half a cup of water. I may need a little bit more, with 1 tablespoon of No Chicken Better Than bouillon, or any chickenless bouillon cube or powder. If you're using the powder, it says dissolve it in the water first, and a small teaspoon of liquid smoke. I don't want it too smoky. So that's what I'm going to use to make my vegan poultry. So in here, the first thing I'm going to do is take a little whisk and combine all this. I'm just going to combine all my dry ingredients. Wow, that's really in your face, isn't it? All right, now I'm going to add all my spices, and I'm going to combine those too. All right, so that's done, and this is also all mixed up. So I'm going to go ahead and just chop up this tofu a little bit before I add the rest of the ingredients. And I'm going to turn the camera off because this food processor is really loud. Okay, so I have that all chopped up. Now I'm going to add my liquid to this because this is actually going to be part of my liquid that I'm going to add my dry ingredients to. So I'm going to go ahead and add the liquid, which is the bouillon. So, and then I'm going to have another little bit of maybe half a quarter of a cup of water available in case I need it. But I'm going to try this first. Okay, so I blended this in here until it got creamy and smooth. And I also added 2 tablespoons of oil to it. I used avocado oil, that's what I had on hand. And I added about a tablespoon of rice vinegar to it. You can use any vinegar, because when I'm using Vital Wheat gluten, I don't like the aftertaste, and the vinegar cuts some of that aftertaste. So anyway, that's what this is. It's a block of 16 ounces, 14 to 16 ounces, they said, of extra firm or firm tofu. And it should be a dry packed tofu, not in the liquid, unless you press it. And this is half a cup of water and 2 tablespoons of oil, a tablespoon of vinegar, and let's see what else. I think that was it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add the Vital Wheat gluten now, the mixture. And then you want to mix that up in your food processor. Okay, here I am. All right, I'm not kidding when I say this is the loudest food processor ever. It's obnoxious. So here's my dry ingredients, and I'm going to add those in. And then it wants you to mix this up for a couple minutes. And this is not the best place to do this because my microwave's in the way. So you have to pardon me a second while I go over here and distribute this evenly. This is a Cuisinart food processor, and it does a good job, but like I said, it's really loud. So I'm going to not subject you to that obnoxious noise, and I'll be back in a minute after I get this mixed up. Okay, hang in there, we're almost done. So this is what it's going to look like, and it's a relatively firm dough. It's not sticking to my hands, but they want you to knead it a little bit more because you don't want a spongy seitan. I like seitan, but spongy seitan not so much. So I'm going to go ahead and knead this for a couple more minutes. And this is kind of fun. It's like playing with Play-Doh. So it does not stick to your hands. And actually the more that you knead seitan, the firmer it's going to get. So you got to find that happy place where it's not tough and rubbery, but it's not soft and spongy either. If you want a less firm seitan, is better for making like sausages and things for that. But if you want to make a roast, you want it to be, you don't want that spongy texture. So this is going to get baked in a 350 oven. And I'm going to knead this for a little bit, another minute or two. And that will also activate the gluten in the gluten flour. So I've never made this recipe before, and I'm actually following the directions, except that I added the rice vinegar because, like I said, I don't like that particular taste of dry seitan Vital Wheat gluten. You don't get that when you wash flour. You don't have that aftertaste. But I hope this is good. I'm making it more for lunch meat, but you can also slice it and eat it with a gravy. So I'll be back when I'm ready to get this all mixed up or wrapped up. Now I'm going to use these seasoning sheets. I don't know where I got them. I've had them a long time. Apparently they're from Avon, Ohio. cmsflavorseal.com. I don't even know if they're still in business. But anyway, I want to use these up, and this one is a garlic and herb seasoning. And there's 6 of them in the pack, and they come in these little sheets. So they have like plastic in between. So I'm going to go ahead, because they say to put a rub on here, so use whatever rub you like. I'm just going to use this, and hopefully it'll stick. That's not really sticking. I think they use it more as a marinade. So I'm going to try and wet this, because it's not sticking on here. I thought maybe it would work. But you know me, I'm always trying to experiment. So let me get back to you in a second. Okay, so what I ended up doing, I just dampened this a little bit and let it sit under and on top of the roast, and then most of the seasoning came off. So use any rub you like, if you like barbecue or, you know, whatever you like, your favorite rub. But this is what the little roast looks like. And now I'm going to wrap it in foil. And I always like to use parchment paper first. So I'm going to wrap this fairly tight because I don't want it to get too big because it will expand in the oven. So this is supposed to be like a tofurkey. So we'll see. We will see. And then I'm going to wrap it in foil. Now this is going to go in the oven at 350. And let's see. The directions say for 30 minutes, you put it on a baking sheet and you bake it for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, you open the foil and continue baking for another 30 to 40 minutes. Now this is supposed to sit in the refrigerator overnight, so it firms up. So we'll see. I hope it's good. All right, I'll be back when I take it out of the oven. Hey, it's been an hour and my poultry dish is done. I'll show it to you. And it looks good. Let me show you. So there's what it looks like. Now this has to go into the refrigerator till tomorrow, just to firm it up. I don't know how firm it is. It's got a little bit of a crust. I'm just going to take a little tiny piece just to check the flavor. It still does seem soft, but apparently that's what it does. And I'm hoping it's done, because I gave it an hour. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, it's really hot. There's what it looks like. Looks nice and together. I don't see a lot of holes in it. And let's see if we can get this off the paper. It's really hot. And there's what the rest of it looks like. So let me give it a taste. And then tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be good. It's got a nice crust. So let's see. It has a good flavor. And I think once it firms up, it's going to be just perfect. So you can use this on sandwiches. I imagine you can cut it and use it with gravy. So I'm anxious to see what it'll be like tomorrow. But the flavor's very good. So I'm going to wrap this back up, let it cool, stick it in the fridge. And if you like tofurkey, I'm sure you'll like this. And it's way cheaper. because those little tofurkey things are pretty expensive. Any vegan, vegetarian faux meats are really ridiculous in the cost. So anyway, give this a try. I think it's a success. And once this is cool, within the next couple days, I'll let you know how it was. All right, my friends. So get in the kitchen and try making some of these things and saving yourself some money if you're vegan or vegetarian. And even if you're not, tofu is a perfectly good form of protein. It has a lot of high protein. And I know there's people out there that are trying to cut back on their meat consumption for health reasons. So give it a try. And I have made similar roasts to this, and I've used leftover hummus, and it works great too. So, and that has a lot of protein. All right, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Okay, I just wanted to do a real quick update. It's the next morning, and here is my roast, and it's firmed up nicely. I'm going to give it a little cut. So you can use this as a poultry lunch meat, and it slices beautifully. And you can use this as a tofurkey roast too, and it's really nice. So I'm going to give it a taste now, since it's been in the refrigerator for overnight, and I want to see how the flavor is. Really good. So I would say this is a success. So I'm going to have my morning coffee now, and for lunch I'm going to have a nice chicken-like sandwich. All right, bye again.